Hello, my friends. Welcome to another week of, hey, they've put out a new video. CIG has put out a new Inside Star Citizen, this one about 60 plus missions coming to Alpha 4.1.1. So I think we went over the roadmap roundup yesterday. If you haven't seen that, check it out, it's on the channel. But I do think between the different mission selections they've added, this does make sense that we're gonna see 60 plus. There's about 5 new mission types and plenty of opportunities for them to add them into the game. So I don't think there will be any big surprises here, but it still should be a good look at the kind of content coming in a relatively small patch, considering it's 4.1.1 instead of 4.1. And I think we'll continue to see this trend continue throughout the year. Anyways, let's check it out. I'll try to add some context. Thank you for joining me.
I like making missions because it's an intellectual challenge and it's a creative challenge. I like playing through the content and seeing things through a player's eyes and trying to craft an experience.
Do you think players like missions?
I hope players like missions.
When they work. When they work. It's kind of a bummer to be making missions and then, like, because the game is so unstable, your mission just seems like it's always broken. Unless your mission's broken, then, you know, fix that, maybe. When it's possible. No rush.
In Alpha 4.1.1, we are going to be dropping about 60 new missions, and it's going to be our biggest drop since 4.0. Let's start with our big headliner, Hunt the Polaris. Hunt the Polaris.
Honestly, even if 4.0 gave us a decent amount of missions, it also took away a lot. So I would consider this a better update than 4.0 mission-wise, because losing mission hurts more than not gaining new ones, I think. Especially when they're missions like the Covalix one.
This is a mission where the Frontier Fighters have stolen a UEE Polaris, which was bound for Invictus, and they're trying to escape with it and get it back to Pirate. Your job is to stop them.
We can't let them get away.
In order to stop them, you are chasing them around Stanton. You have to search for them, you have to ambush them, you have to defend other ships from them as well as they continue on their path to Pyro.
When you encounter the Polaris, it won't be alone. It will have some Frontier Fighter friends as
Can't
backup.
confirm.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What's really cool about this mission is you don't even have to do it alone.
The Polaris quantumed away.
The UE have sent their own guys as well, and there's a hammerhead that, if you keep alive, will help keep you alive too.
That's a nice dynamic. So I got into this when I was on stream the other day, and I was alone, so I didn't really stand much of a chance, but we zoomed around a little bit and there were some NPCs out there fighting. I didn't realize there was a hammerhead also on our team. I do think, as I said on the roadmap roundup, this is going to be a little bit of chaos just because of the way combat works right now. But it sounds like there's some dynamics to it a little bit. I do wonder if, I guess you can't team up with Frontier Fighters, so it'll be interesting to see how players come in here and still try to kill other players instead of the Frontier Fighters.
I think it'll be a really good test of just how strong your friends are, and yourself too.
Next, there are 12 different patrol contracts split between Headhunters and Foxwell.
Foxwell being the faction that gives you the legal version of these missions, and Headhunters will give you the illegal version.
Foxwell Enforcement, they've hit hard times, so their background checks and whoever they hire is a bit more loosey-goosey.
Headhunters are now
Don't hire that guy. What is he even doing?
operating for the first time in Stanton. The Headhunters want you to patrol an area of space that they consider their own and make sure their interests are allowed to operate safely.
The patrol missions in 4.1.1 are a little different than our standard missions. We wanted a mission that was not linear. You will go to a point throughout space, and it will randomly generate between our pool of current objectives. Currently, there's 4 objectives that it can generate between.
Is that a what is that a Valkyrie? No, that's the freaking Anvil Asgard. What the heck? they just drop a unannounced ship right into ISC without saying anything about it. I'm like, wait, that doesn't look like this is definitely just a different take on the Valkyrie. So it's another one of these variants of a ship. It's just like the Terrapin Medical, like the Ravens we got last year, like the Fortune, and I think we're going to see more and more of this because it's an easy way to make new ships without having to do whole new chassis.
Objectives. Currently there's 4 objectives that it can generate between. So you'll go to point number 1. It will pick between one of those 4 objectives for you to complete. Once you complete...
Oh, you get a lot better view out of it. I'm sorry, we're talking about missions here. Honestly, I think these are interesting missions. These are like your basic level missions. These are the ones that will always live in the background while you're going and doing more story-focused stuff that's more in-depth. But what I really want to hear, the magic words I want to hear from this kind of a talk with all this stuff, especially when they talk about these gangs want you to hold down this area of space, I gotta hear Star Sim. We gotta hear that this is going to be tied into some kind of dynamic triggering that depends on the actual gangs and not just like some script that's running in the background, you know? Because we can already see here that they're starting to spread gangs into other systems. Originally, most of the gangs they talked about were very localized. As we saw a couple weeks ago, they're starting to pull back on local reputation. They're also starting to use factions in multiple systems because it just makes more sense in terms of scalability. So I am very interested in hearing how that's going to factor into the dynamic nature of this game, because this game does need to have dynamic nature. That's important.
Complete it, it will send you to another point in space where it will generate another objective, and so on until you've completed 3 points.
Scans are showing outlaws inbound.
Objective 1 is a traditional kill all the ships that appear. That doesn't really require any more explanation. Objective 2 is protect a ship that's under attack from the bad guys.
So I think these are all modules, by the way. They've talked about mission modules, being able to stack these up and spread them out and interweave them with maybe like investigation module or travel module or something like that. I think you'll notice that they kind of like mix and match these throughout these new missions.
Objective 3 is a new objective called Search and Destroy. And Objective 4 is what we're calling the empty objective.
Not seeing anything.
Where you show up and actually nothing happens. I have to say that so people don't think it's a bug.
Did we just get our own John Travolta meme? Dude, I'm gonna use this clip so often in videos.
I have to say that so people don't think it's a bug. Search and Destroy is a new objective that we've created. We wanted an objective that was less heavy on combat.
The player will go to the location and they'll receive a certain number of areas to discover.
Dude, that ship looks sick. Is that like the new Guardian? That thing looks freaking sick.
The location and they'll receive a certain number of areas to discover.
Bro.
It's up to the player to go there and ping and scan with their ship scanners and discover what's going to happen. The player may discover friendly probe, that's one of the UEEs.
Guardian's just a cool looking ship.
All operational.
Everything is in order.
Or you may discover that there's a hostile one. It's been hacked by another organization and you're there to destroy it.
Seems this satellite's been hacked by outlaws. We're gonna have to take it out.
This has some echoes of Tessa Bannister's missions, and I'm glad they're starting to lean a little bit more into that.
If you destroy it, then the people who own the satellite won't be very happy with you, so they'll QT in and start attacking you.
Target destroyed.
We're hoping that if this mission goes over well, we can slowly add to that pool to make Patrol a sort of mission that will continue to expand upon until we have, say, 15 or 20 random objectives that can trigger. But really, we're only going to do that if you guys like it, so let us know how you feel.
I think people are gonna like really most types of missions for a small amount of time. I think again, what is going to be a real winner for CIG is if they can make these dynamically work and not just be something that you take an objective, you go to a place, you clear some guys out, and then it's done. There needs to be reason behind that, or else these are going to get old for most people. Yeah, it'll be great churnable content for newcomers, but you need more than that.
I'm Lucas Baransko, but my students call me Gilly.
Longtime players might remember Gilly from the tutorial from way back in the day. Gilly is a very experienced combat veteran. It was really good to have him in the game the first time round.
Gilly also appears in 3 new Invictus training exercises, where you'll be able to be shown what a patrol mission could be like.
Prepare to engage.
This is not a tutorial, but it is a series of increasingly difficult combat scenarios.
These 3 missions are so that the player can feel like they're part of the UEE, so that they can get a taste of what it's like to be part of the organization that protects Stanton.
Congrats on
I
completing.
think this is a good one. I'm not sure, not the combat gauntlet. This is the one that goes, I think, up to wave 8, but there's a 3-part one I think is a really nice introduction to what combat will feel like without really putting you in too much danger. That's going to be on our requirements list on GII, so get used to that one, guys.
Another part of your course.
These are just here while the Invictus
Not requirements for everyone. You don't actually have to do this stuff. It's just if...
event is on to add a little bit more flavor.
There are also now 12 new ambush contracts, also split between Foxwell and Headhunters.
An ambush mission is where you lie in wait for your target to appear before striking them fast and hard.
So it's a mission for...
No, for tactical masterminds.
I like the
So
horrid noise.
Foxwell is giving these ambush missions because they are being paid by outside contractors to take down dangerous individuals around the Stanton and Pyro systems, which are causing trouble for their clients.
Nice. Done.
And Handhunters, well, they just ambush anyone. They want stuff.
When you get to the ambush location, you will be asked to hide inside a new high emission zone.
Which means that the enemy can't detect you when they jump in. So first there's a wave of
Get a freaking smile on her face. She's like, I'm so ready to just f***ing murder someone. Let's go, Johnny.
scouts that shows up.
He's
and
like,
they're gonna scan for
okay.
their valuable transport to arrive on time. And since they don't detect you, they give the all clear. The target arrives, and that's the moment you jump out of the high emission zone, which will make you appear on radar, but it's too late for them to escape, and that's when you take down the cargo hauler.
I think the premise here is good, but so far as I've experienced these, they haven't felt really natural. Like the high emission zone thing is good, but I feel like the person that's guiding us, Gilly, needs to explain a little bit more of what's going on and specifically point us to our emissions gauges on our cockpit so that the new players can hear and see this thing, see the effect it has, and then benefit from that and take it on with them. It's still a little bit, hey, do this, do that, and then you do it, and they're like, okay, good job, and you don't. It's like copying the homework right before turning it in instead of doing the homework yourself. You know, I know you didn't get to learn that long division very well because of that one, huh?
I'm really excited about these missions because the high mission zones will unlock further
See?
options for
Dude.
anyone to
He still looks a little concerned, man. She's too happy about this.
make really cool missions, both PvE and PvP related.
Many of these new missions have a chance to spawn an ace pilot.
Scouts just picked up a ship that we've tagged as extremely dangerous.
They are either aligned with the Headhunters or the UEE. You won't always know when they're going to arrive. So they will always be a sort of rogue variable inside those missions that you'll have to deal with.
Talking about their skill level.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
their
nice
skills
shirt.
crank. I can't crank it any harder. So skilled is definitely their name.
Okay, so now we get to see. If this is the top skilled AI to fight, then we get to see how this compares to fighting another human player. Because a lot of fear surrounding PvP is that players are much more dangerous than AI. In large part because AI and Star Citizen have kind of sucked for multiple reasons. So I am interested in seeing if they can get these AI up to like a very good skill level without being obviously just hit scan aim bots. Then things could get interesting.
And if you are lucky enough to be able to take him out, you can loot his corpse and he will have some considerable amount of guild scrip on him. These scrip are in-game items
Pinatas.
that you can pick up and collect. You are getting 1 scrip for the council and 1 scrip for the mercenary guild. And you can use them as currency for collector missions. He really, really wants these guild scrip.
So you get to make cool armor out of them, of course.
As part of Invictus, we are adding our very first ones as a kind of scavenger hunt around the halls.
They're freaking huge.
We're also giving
As a
them
weapon.
away as mission rewards for the new combat missions. So there will be even more ways to get those new collector ships. Oh, there's also new collector ships this patch, but I don't know what they are.
I do. We went over it yesterday.
Of course, it wouldn't be Invictus without visiting the Invictus halls.
This year's Invictus launch week returns to Area 18. As you're in the shuttle and approaching the Battle Convention Center, you get met with the new slogan of this year's Invictus.
Whoa, that train looks like it's about to crash. Oh,
As you
crap.
walk out of the shuttle, we walk into the lobby and we take the elevator down. We get met with the beautiful hologram of the mighty
Hey, look, guys, they released the Idris. It's in the game. We did it. Yay.
Idris itself. As we're walking further into the halls, you'll be able to find all the new ships for this year's Invictus. We can see that this year's Invictus looks a little bit different than what
Bro,
we're
they're
used
not
to.
even, they're like, they already seen these. Just put them in.
This year Invictus will not feature
Oh, some new
different
skins.
daily layouts, but instead has a better, well-crafted layout for the entire duration of Invictus.
Oh,
We can see that there's extra care being taken in the presentation of the ships. This really shows the might of the UAE.
hey, well, he's one of the base building guys. What's going on with that? Huh?
At the entrance of the
Dude, I love how they're just straight showing us the stuff. Every one of these vehicles is not announced yet. I mean, okay, the Starlink's attack is definitely announced. These other two have not been shown. And I do believe this looks different from the current Guardian, right? This looks a little wider. Is this why we got that kind of more hulking shape from the little teaser? I don't know. We'll see. It'll come out eventually. This is interesting though. Little gray cat vehicle.
halls, we can see the rental kiosks. This is where you'll this year be able to rent the various ships. Make sure to return to these kiosks as they are on a daily/bi-daily rotation. Invictus this year is not just about ships, but it's about the way that you customize your ships, how you create your own experience.
They've been preparing for this. They've been dropping new updates to the guides on components and stuff over the last couple months.
With your vehicles, and how you truly make your vehicles your own. So let's check out the Idris tour at Area 18 Central. As you walk,
We're inching closer to engineering.
you'll look up, you can already see that the Idris is hanging straight above. We'll go towards
That's pretty
the
cool.
IO North Tower and take the elevators up. As we
That's pretty
continue
cool.
over the platform, we get met with the Idris itself. Please take some time to explore.
But like, how in the actual is this thing staying up? It's just floating here, expending fuel the whole time? Or is it being held up by this incredibly strong unobtainium built catwalk? Just all that strain and sheer stress is it's just the amazing lightweight construction of the Idris.
I'm super excited about Invictus this year. I think we've done something a little bit unexpected. I think the way that everything came together really clicked this year. I hope that the players will also see the care and love that we put into making this year's Invictus special.
Overall, 411 is a big...
Yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure this Guardian just looks different. Like, I think these shapes are much longer and more flat, and it makes the ship look so freaking cool. Oh man, what is this thing used
Overall,
for?
411 is a big suite of ship combat content. It's been a little while since we've gotten to do something like this.
Yeah.
We've heard some of the criticism that sometimes we're FPS citizen, and we hope this goes some way to help address it.
Now we're gonna hear,
having this
oh, there's too much focus on ship combat. That'll be me. I'm gonna say that.
patch sit on your shoulders?
I think it's a lot of pressure, but it's also very, very motivating. There's a lot of work to do, but we know we can do it. Just gotta get it done.
Dang, I wish we looked that cool when we were fighting. And just freaking slamming an ass.
And as you can see, this year's Invictus is going to operate just a little differently than years before. Now, in addition to the more than 60 new mission contracts being added to Alpha 411, there's also a new way to earn secondary currency for Wicklow and, in the future, his guild brethren, new ace pilots to test the mettle of our greatest flyers, and then, of course, our first tour of the Idris Peacekeeper and a more robust convention center than ever before. One that loses the rotating inventory to highlight all the ships arriving at this year's event simultaneously.
That's a solid choice. That's a good idea for them to do.
There's also those new flight blades y'all have been talking about online, and even some weapon and item packs that'll let you breathe new life into existing vehicles like never before. You can learn all about that stuff on the robertsspaceindustries.com website as the event starts proper on May 15th. And then it continues to cycle through all of our manufacturers every 2 days until the end of the event. That part stays the same. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll start learning about the last 4 vehicles making their debut at this year's event next week. And then the week after. It's a 2-week thing.
All right, Jared, thank you. So,
1 minute later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and before I forget,
what
the
happened?
ISC team is hired.
1 minute? You just shaved the whole mustache off in 1 minute, don't you?
We're looking for 2 more of the game capture folks. You know, those people that make the B-roll and stuff. You get to work in the most broken builds imaginable for like weeks before Evocati, and they're on NDA.
What?
So, and then you have to try to make unfinished stuff look great. It's legit some of the hardest work that we've got. But boy, is it cool and fun, and you get to work with some of the best people. Not me, but others. You know, you can find the listing at cloudimperiumgames.com/jobs. Hopefully it's right there at the bottom.
That is that's a fun job, honestly. I would love to shoot B-roll for cool videos. No, I wish I got to shoot more B-roll. I use a lot of their B-roll still because we don't get in game as much as we'd like to, but that is a cool listing. It's really fun to capture stuff in this game when you got the eye tracker. So that was an interesting episode. I think they could have gone a lot more into some of the mission stuff. I find it interesting that they didn't touch on the maintenance missions, but that's because they already did and then delayed them. So they left those out, but I do imagine those are included in the 60 plus missions number. If not, then it sounds like there's more than 60 plus. Guess that's the plus. But also, I do hope to just hear more about how these tie into the overall game itself. This is really good, I think, for newcomers. Missions are good to get people into how the game works so that you can then move on to do things for your own objectives and your own reasoning. This is that first 2 weeks kind of content, and I think we need a lot more of that on this part of the game, in cargo hauling and mining and salvage, in FPS combat, in just freaking flying around. We need more hooks that pull people into the actual gameplay instead of leaving them to find something to do only to leave 30 minutes later because the only thing that hit them were glitches. Anyways, that's a look at what's going on right now with missions. There's a lot to talk about with Invictus Week, and we will have a lot of coverage of that coming in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned here on Space Tomato 2. Check out Space Tomato. Maybe come join us live if you'd like. We've also got some podcasts coming up on the live show. So stick around, and I'll see you in the next one.